Welcome to another episode of $2,500 Audi. In this episode, we tear down the intake manifold, timing belt, water pump, pulleys, all of those things. And we have a special guest, Kevin.
Cringy ass.
And of course we have Josh here too, but nobody really cares about this guy. He's just someone's plumber. So thanks for coming. Thanks for plumbing. This is Kevin from Make It Work LLC. He's very good at literally everything. For the last 10 years of my entire life, when I can't do anything, this man does it. Unfortunately for him, he also has the exact same car. So when I can't do something, Kevin comes do something. Thanks, Kevin.
Oh joy.
It wouldn't work on my car. I have this proposition.
Yeah. Hey. All right, so we've got the intake manifold and the fuel rail off, thanks to Kevin and Josh. So now what we have to do is get this thing right here, which is the auxiliary water pump, which runs after the car is off to put coolant to the turbos. We're gonna take that off and replace it with 034 Motorsports coolant bypass pipe. And this will just literally stop a future leak from even happening. The reason we got this is just to future-proof the car, because that would suck to turn the car off and it leaks coolant for no reason. It's the most Audi shit I've ever seen, heard, or experienced in my life. We're gonna start getting that off here in a second, and then Kevin and I are gonna tackle the timing belt and get this crusty, musty, never been changed before belt out of here. We ordered a lightweight pulley. We gotta get the power steering off as well, since we ordered a new pump. Alternator's already been ripped out, and then all the idler pulleys and tensioners and all that kind of stuff, and also the cam seals. So that's gonna be the content for today, and it's gonna take a long time. No, never mind. Like, there's a water pump sensor here. Just pull it. They put the clip to remove it from the bottom.
Well, take it off first.
You said about clips, Kyle.
Magazine. Where's those hose clamp pliers I gave you?
Here. So Kevin cheated and got all this stuff off for me because I went to go inside to make a coffee and came back and it was already gone. So can't hate the man. He's efficient. But
it's weird. I've never taken the manifold off of one before though.
it's like the LS, except of the water pump, it was the starter. Oh, there's no coolant in here. Oh, okay. And then this guy.
Don't just yeet it out.
I mean, you said yeet it out?
No, don't do it.
Yeet! It's a yeet. See, that's what I'm thinking.
See how it goes in now though? How you move it up and then it pulls out?
I noticed it after I removed it.
Remember, they don't come with these.
What doesn't come with this?
New pump.
I don't have a new pump.
Then what the fuck are you taking the manifold off for?
Brother, this is a bypass.
You know that serves a purpose, right?
I don't care anymore. I'm here to make cars worse than factory, not better than factory.
Just ruin your brand new turbo.
Dude, imagine all of the engineers that Germany hired for Audi just to make this.
Remember, you know how turbo timers work? You know,
Yeah.
The reason for turbo timers is what this does?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do the same thing too.
Just replace the turbos again?
I'm gonna put it on like a timer, like you set a timer on the ignition. It's like ding. Yeah.
Arm off, this arm off. You should pull this off.
What the fuck is that?
This is a breather. This is your breather port for the block. And then it goes to your PCV system.
Oh. There's a lot of breathers and breathing capabilities.
The only thing is if we take these hard lines off, I would replace all these O-rings while we have it off, because I'd hate to have to redo that O-ring. It's a hard pipe that just goes into an O-ring. This is
That's for coolant?
Coolant line, yeah. That goes to the back of the water pump.
Jesus. And it's all like crusted already.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's 20 years of crust right there.
See these things? Don't need these anymore. 20 years of crust, 20 years of must, 20 years of dust. Where the old piping went is where this will continue to go. That's where everything was, that's where our water pump was. Well, first.
You gotta spin on that thing.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Might not even need clamps.
yeah, no shit. You just kind of squeeze your jaw in there. You know what I'm saying? Just fucking ruin the purpose of these gloves. And I'm routed, baby. That's what we're talking about. So this pulley is not budging. And Kevin has this thing called the mini ductor, which literally conducts heat and then applies it. to the direction that we want to absolutely heatify, because we gotta get that pulley off to get to the water pump. That's gonna happen first, so we can get to the rest of this nonsense. I'm just gonna continue to eat it, dude. If that doesn't come off, we can just wrap a strap to this thing, put it up to the bends, and just go. Pull the whole pump off, too.
It come off.
Can I light myself on fire with that thing? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
It gets.
yeah, no, I'm good. So that pulley is off, which is going to allow us to get to the rest of the timing belt stuff. And once all of that is off and the belt is off, Kevin's got a tool to lock both sides of the cams so they don't move. We'll lock the cams up so that after this is set to TDC, make sure it doesn't move from that position. Replace all of like the obviously rusted and old parts like the tensioner and the idler. So we gotta just replace the small things after we're done. And I'm gonna take these things off once we get to it and kind of buzz wheel them and spray paint them black, because there's a lot of crusties in here. In the meanwhile, we have homies here. We just added a Glenn, and then we added a Yoshino. So we got the homies, they're hanging out with us, and yeah, got the canopy because of the rain, which sucks, so we're just gonna hang out and start doing stuff. Kevin has asked me to sit pretty. If we stripped it, we wouldn't have to do it.
If we stripped it, we'll just put it all back together.
So Kevin's using an impact hammer on rusted bolts on the crank pulley, and the reason why we're using that is because it digs the head into the bolts, the bolt heads. It's less of a chance to strip them, because what it does is every single time you hit it with the hammer, it just, yep, just gives that a little bit of spin. Me, on the other hand, I would have just impacted it right off and just sent it straight to God himself. We have a Kevin, so 12-year tech? Something like that, 2012. Damn, we're getting old. Give it the 1-2, buckle my shoe. 1, 2. See? Shoe's been buckled. Jesus. Pulley is almost off. All of the rust seems to keep everything in place, which is outstanding. It's like this thing, the front end of this thing was sunken into like the Atlantic for approximately 3 to 4 solid weeks of seasoned salt water. I just love giving Kevin the amount of garbage work. I know he enjoys this. Remember when you said not to buy another Volkswagen Audi product? Guess what I did? Another one. We throw this away. Yay! Kevin, the objective is to find top dead center, is it?
It is, but
Okay.
normally before you take all this apart, you set it on top dead center, but I got excited.
You want to disassemble an Audi S4?
Yeah.
For the second time?
Yes.
So we're gonna put this to TDC and put the cam locks on, which is this big
TDC
dude.
mean?
Top dead center, baby.
Nope, you got it backwards. We're
Huh?
gonna put it on TDC. TDC finds piston relation.
Yes.
And then we put the crank block in. And that stops, this threads in down here.
Yeah.
Little access hole down here. And it actually threads into the crank with this little pin here. And it doesn't let the bottom end turn.
Okay.
Right?
And then you put
And then because of the timing belt stretch, this may not be perfectly lined up.
Okay.
So then we can manipulate this to line back up.
Using
Once the crank is locked.
using this tool.
Using that tool, correct.
And then-
So that's the cam lock tool.
Yoshino's question was, for 20 grand, what daily would you get? Max?
Mark 7 All Track, obviously.
100% of Mark 7R, you can get it for 20
For
grand.
20 grand? No, you're not finding one for 20 grand.
Yeah, you are. You'd find
Nice,
one.
safe family vehicle.
Yeah. If you save
525. 525 BMW.
What
no
year?
turbo.
Like a 2012.
like the E39? Oh,
Yeah.
2012? Oh, E60.
Yeah. they're tanks. They're tanks.
You had one.
I still do.
Did it go into a clip? Oh, I thought it went off the ditch.
240,000 miles. 260,000 miles on it.
And it still runs?
Still runs like a fucking top.
That's incredible. You know what else still
And
runs
it's
like
comfy.
a fucking top? 1991 Toyota Corolla.
Oh, of course.
Say I'm wrong.
I think you can't go wrong with that answer, period.
That car
Wait.
will not blow up.
He just played this game in real life, though.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
20K, what would you buy?
I have a Toyota Tacoma, 2010. Only 60K miles on that sucker.
For 20 grand was actually, I think that was a good deal.
That was a
Tell them about how
damn.
the joint came loose and almost killed you.
That was on. That was on my Sonata. That wasn't. Don't get it twisted. That was on my Sonata.
What'd you do?
That ball joint might have come loose on the middle of I-95.
Did your wheels go from parallel to perpendicular?
One did. One had like an identity crisis or something. Just wanted to go right. Like,
What is it? French fry pizza? French fry pizza?
oh yeah.
So what would you buy, Yoshino, for 20K?
Don't hate me, but I'm looking into getting a Tesla because zero maintenance. Besides
Again.
yeah.
But like I thought, look, this is just for a daily.
Okay, that's
Daimler-Benz did not die for this, okay? those are great cars.
But they're expensive if
that's
anything
it.
breaks.
Well, they have like a tax break and stuff. So.
Oh, so it's financially smart.
Yeah, it's like actually probably a good decision.
I mean, coming from the one with the Amazon Web Service, Tesla definitely checks out.
yeah, they're building a charger at work. Why not?
Yeah.
So.
Nah, dude, Mark II Golf. Those are cool. You never get to work, you just be homeless.
The ultimate work from home car.
So now that we have the cam locks in the right place, we know that the timing is top dead center at 100% at 0 degrees. It's locking up both the left and right side banks, and then we have the flywheel lock that's coming underneath in from here through the crank through the inspection plate. It's time to chop the belt.
Oh, we're cutting it?
Are we cutting it? I don't know. Shit.
Your car. Go.
That's fucking gross.
Did that move when you pushed in on it?
Yeah, it did.
Is it nasty behind there?
It's all gross in there, dude.
No, that's fine.
It's all rusted all around it, and I think it's fused to the thermostat.
That's what it was.
So we found the water pump leak. Sorry, not the water pump leak. See, when I do the pulling, it makes the water. I'm going to make a testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Very good.
But is this one 10 and is this one 11? Yes. Yeah, Allah Habibi, I don't understand. They're making all of these rules. I'm not making understanding. Oh, I found it. Yes, very good. I make a finding. Yes, hello. I'm going to put my hand here like this one, and I'm going to put this one, and then I'm going to look. I want to make a fix. With the determination and will for the Emperor, I bless thee. Oh, man. You were giving me recommendation that is not operation. I am going to find you. You remember in the last video that I told you guys the tug and pull method? It's effective. Yes, that's the light that I need. Thanks. Tug and pull method.
It's on top.
Don't fucking tell me what it does. Huh?
It's on top, son.
Oh, fuck, you're right. You have to take this out. Oh my god. Y'all are so useless, bro. I literally got to do everything around here. Am I removing this?
Kyle, explain what you're doing.
Bro, I have no idea. So Kevin told me to do this. I did this. And then now it's time to do that. Okay, cool. So I'm trying to get to the water pump still. Don't ever do what I just did. Just put an Allen head into a corroded bolt and then hit the impact at as hard as you can. Because that's how you break shit, right?
Eat that motherfucker. There you go.
We're missing the timing belt tensioner that came with our kit. It literally just did not come with one. It came with the tensioner pulley. So we're gonna do everything we can today, and I think we're just gonna take it easy for the rest of the day. So I just installed the pulley for this here. The belt's already off, thanks to Kev. We're gonna take the water pump out and put the new one in and get ready for power steering pump to come out as well, because that's coming during the middle of the week. And then we're gonna take both the cam gears out with the cam gear puller that I don't have, or replace the seals behind the cam gears, and then all this like really crusty, musty, like the timing covers, these are gonna get blasted and they're gonna get resprayed black because it looks gross. And everybody's telling me to replace the motor, so I think we're gonna replace the B5 with another B5, because that's how you fix the B5 in the beginning, was to get another B5. So, and we'll have another day for the next video, and then here's the next day. I shouldn't have done that. Here is the next day. Das ist ein deutsches Auto. Ich liebe deutsches Auto. Nein! All right, so we basically started working on the car on the last night, and we noticed that we didn't have some crucial things like the cam gear puller. We didn't have some hoses and some lines. Just time to hang out with friends. The best part is we found our culprit for the leak. See all that? That is some buildup that was built on the bottom of this thermostat housing, and it was leaking through. And then also, thermostat itself has literally no, I mean, it was just leaking all from the bottom. It is just gross. Remember, it's not just mileage that matters when it comes to replacing parts and why we have these maintenance intervals. It's also the time. Things like plastic and rubber, they typically deteriorate. I mean, people say around 7 to 8 years, especially in the Northern Virginia area with our climate. You know, these things sit outside. These will eventually start to like break apart. And so what happens is they start building up slow leaks, and those slow leaks end up building up right here. And then essentially what happens is leaks right out. Again, this is a really good example as to why this is a time-related maintenance interval and not a mileage maintenance interval. We already got the new ones in. Kevin, the wizard, he was already locked in. He got the new pump in. Here's the old one. Again, another good example of time on gaskets. This thing was just crusty, broken. It was just time to go. You know, while we're in here, that's going to be a really famous saying, while we're in here. You just want to get rid of all the old components and replace it with what you have and get the car in good shape. And you remember, you had the auxiliary water pump. We actually just bypassed that. The reason for this pump is to run coolant into the turbos after the car is off. So we replaced it with 034 Motorsports auxiliary coolant pump delete. Now we have to take our own precautions where we'll run the car and then we will idle it for a little bit before we shut the car off. Kind of like a turbo timer. So this is the old thermostat housing. This is the water coolant pump that we removed. Here is the old water coolant pump. This was one of the pulleys, or the tensioners, the tensioner pulley that we removed, and it's got some of that built up and rusted in. And then finally, this was the belt tensioner. It's old, and again, while you're in there, here's the timing belt. And then kind of ways to tell that timing belts are getting old. You can kind of see that in between all of those ribs, there is some sheen, right?
Yeah, dude, it looks like this thing was used to like a whip. Like, come here.
I feel violated, and I feel like a piece of meat. Oh God. Oh God. And
is it ribbed for the car's pleasure?
It's
or for
ribbed.
my pleasure.
It's ribbed for the cam and the crankshaft's pleasure. Ribbed for your crank. We didn't notice any like signs of like tearing or rips or any there. There's some wear marks. You know what I mean? And I could be, you know, like splitting hairs at this point. We didn't have a feeling, or we had the feeling that none of these things were replaced in their maintenance intervals. You know, it did have 90,000 miles on the motor. Fine, but again, it's time. We are on a 20-some-year-old car. The goal for today, the camshaft seals. While we're in there, we're gonna take both of these cams off, and I've got my trusty puller set today finally, and replace the seals behind them. Ross has brought us a plethora of parts, which is awesome. Yesterday was not a big work day. I mean, it was. We got a lot of stuff done, but today is going to be a lot of actual work, a lot of maintenance. So let's get through it.
We are live from Kyle's garage.
Here today, we find out whether or not this was a sound financial decision. As Max has said,
It's sound?
I have immediate regrets sometimes, and then now I don't. I am a paranoid person.
Of the government?
30 on 30. I'm going to mark the top of this gear. So I'm marking the cam cover and the cam gear because just in case anything moves when I'm pulling the cam gear off and putting it back on, that I ensure that it's all lined up still. Make sure that I don't run into any issues. What is this doing here? I don't need this nonsense. This needs to be a clean working environment also. Oh, thanks. So I'm gonna mark this one as well. I'm just gonna mark right on top of the gear with this little silver Sharpie. Just to, okay, or not. Just to ensure I'm in the right place. So now that that's marked, the best thing to do for me is figure out how I'm supposed to get this cam gear off. So I got these off of Amazon. They're just 3-prong cam gear pullers. Audi really thought about the people who were gonna service this vehicle really, really heavily. You know what I mean?
Just not two dudes in the garage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was gonna pay thousands and thousands of dollars to have an Audi tech do this for me, or I could fuck it up myself. Now that I have the 3-prong clamp on, oh, you know it'd be easy?
If this wasn't a B5S4?
100%,
Like a
dog.
Honda Civic?
100%. If this was a Civic, I'd probably already been done with timing. I would have already driven to go get parts for this thing, and I would have had like a great meal in between that, and I could have done my taxes all at the same time. Here I'm gonna walk something out that I shouldn't have.
Like that.
So if anybody tells you this is difficult, it's a lie. That came out so easy. That was weird. All right, let's do the other side. You can see right here It's just a little bit of leak. I mean, the seal needs replacement. I mean, look at it. This thing is just rusted. I'm really glad that we're doing this. Like, imagine doing all the work for a timing belt, water pump, spending your, weekend, whatever, getting all this done. Come to find out this is leaking. Here's the thing I learned with cars. All right, if you treat it well, it'll treat you well. Unless you're a Volkswagen owner, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how much you care or love for it. That car's gonna hate you. But you're into that. You know what I mean? You're just like me. You're into that relationship.
Are you talking to the camera or are you talking to me personally?
I think I'm talking to my therapist. That pain, that pain of that relationship that I have, it keeps me coming back. It's like all this time and money that I spend on you, and yet somehow I just can't get you to run right. You know what I mean? You can't get you to love me back the way you were supposed to. This is really internalizing right now. Like, so let's get this one off, and I may have caused a problem. I think I just punched into this. Shit. So the next video we do cams. Dude, we're fine. Everything's fine. Fuck. Let's get that out of here. Let's get that out of here. Get that out of here. I have that one marked with the Sharpie for left. So this one is gonna be marked for right. And there we go. Oh, brother, it's not a science, okay? Things leak, okay? Take the time. Do it yourself. All that oil residue up there, it's not a lot. It actually isn't all that bad.
No, what are you talking about? That's so much oil, dude. The US government is going to send a task force in to invade this B5S4, dude. That's so much oil, dude. Like, look at that.
So we're going to, Jesus, I really nicked that thing. I'm gonna end up trying to get this thing out right here, or get the cam seal out, and with a trusty tool.
Called a flathead.
Yeah, flathead. Kevin gave us this trusty tool that broke, and this is the seal puller. So I'm gonna slip this in there and start twisting this guy and pull it out.
It's like this car sat for 10 years. Weird.
What? I'm gonna give y'all a quick background of who I am. If you haven't noticed, I'm not at all a professional technician. I've been modifying and building cars since I was 17, heavily influenced by my uncle in the Fast and Furious times. My
Uncle was influencing you?
Oh, hell yeah, he was an influencer. So when I was young, when I was in elementary school, my uncle had a light green EG Civic or EG hatch with like the Euro fogs and all that stuff. And then he had a lot of different like Hondas, and then eventually got an FC RX-7 built by a rotary shop in Manassas. That was like the start of it, because he would take me after school and he'd be like, hey, I want you to take a ride of this. He's like, you hear that noise? Like, and he's like, oh, that's the turbo. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then showing me stuff about like stuff about the car, like the horn was in a different place, which I thought was weird. And I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. He ended up buying a B5A4, I think it was a 108T, and that was his first European car. And then when I was in high school, I worked a little bit and saved some money. My mom and my dad gave me some money, God bless their heart. Without them, I wouldn't have made one of the biggest financial mistakes of my life. I bought a 2.0 or 2-liter Mark IV 5-speed manual, and it thing needed work. We got it from an auction. My dad was a car dealer at the time, so we got it for really cheap, and I couldn't afford anybody to maintain it, so I literally just learned how to do everything myself. And yeah, that's what it started off as, is like jumping on Vortex in 2009, 2010, learning about like the cars, and finally feeling or understanding what each part did, because and the car lounge was one hell of a place for Vortex, so that was a lot of fun. It started off like that, and then I just got sucked into like the community. Like, people on Vortex were really actually at that time the Northern Virginia Volkswagen community was popping, going to H2O events and stuff like that. So I just sold that Mark IV for a Mark II, and then sold that Mark II for another Mark IV, and then sold that Mark IV for another Mark II, and I just went on and on and on. So that's kind of how I started. Is I'm not a tech. I was a service writer at one point, but I'm just out here doing shade tree mechanic stuff, and I can't get this freaking seal off. Maxwell.
There you go.
Max.
Way better.
You're so kind to me.
Put your fucking hat on.
Maybe
there you go.
Maybe we can go out on a On a date, Max? Max, please. I'm so lonely. I just need someone to love me. That's Meredith. Anyways, so this is the seal. This cam seal, don't think was ever replaced. Kevin the Wizard gave me this little seal puller. It helped until literally all of the outside of this cam seal was starting to bend up. I mean, you got to think about how these things are, how they have tension inside the hollow or the grove or whatever it's supposed to be. And I took a hammer and a flathead, because the flathead we use for everything, and I just bent in all the sides that I could to kind of get it to get off the surface area, and and crunch in a little bit and pull the surface area inwards. Took a pick, wrapped around the inside of it, and then took that cam puller when I found like a ledge, and then just hooked it in and then pulled it right out. The most important thing is we don't do damage into where the seal is supposed to go. We're gonna put the new seal in. Ross gave me a shit ton of seals. We're gonna find out which one of these is the right one, and then I'm gonna show you a cool trick on how to put the seal back in without using anything kind of special. Mechanics hate this one trick to put cam seals in.
It's called a mallet.
It's called a mallet. Here's a little trick to use. The inside of the cap right here, this is where the oil is going to traverse around the outside of the cam seal, and that little groove right there. We're going to set that right in there and get her in there as best we can. And then trusty 32 millimeter socket. We're gonna push that right here. Again, I want to back this out so it's level, and I'm in. And then we want to just tap her in nice and smooth. Oh, excuse me. You're pretty much set. And there is a new cam seal. So while that is out, because I want to make this as pretty as possible, this is the timing cover, and as you can see, it is nasty. We are going to clean this off with some brake clean and whiz it down really quick, spray it with some black, and we should be good to go. So the new seals are on. I just really quick kind of spray painted the top of this cover just to kind of, Max actually got the rust off for me, and then I sprayed it really quick. It's gross. I don't really care. We just wanted to get the corrosion on the top off of that because you could see it. But once we get the new stuff on there, it's gonna look so much better. Time to put the camshaft sprocket on. That marking I left earlier definitely served me some use, because look at that. It lines back up with the cover. I'm gonna put the key on. Am I done? I've got to do the good old sender unit with the bolt head. Brother? Bro. And now I've got the cam gear Sharpie mark that I left. Lines up mint with where that tooth is, which is what I wanted. So we're going to torque that down here in a second. After I get the right side on, there's the marking there. There's my marking from last time. I'm gonna get this motherfucking bolt in here, you know what I mean? And then tighten this guy up. And we've got fresh seals. We got paint on the top I should probably redo that, but I'm not gonna. So what we're gonna do is fasten this. Now, in order to make sure I torque these the right way without changing the timing for the cams, I am going to put this guy back on. And make sure that's tight or lined up. Make sure that's lined up. Cool.
What game are we playing?
We're gonna play this game. I'm very good at this game. Very good at this game. All right, you ready for this game? It's called Fuck Myself. And I'm like an all-star champion. I found it! So this is a 16 mil, and we are set to right above 55 Newton meters, but the torque spec calls for 55. To make me feel warm and fuzzy, I'm gonna do 60. I'm going to give this a torque. Oh, not the freshly polished paint.
Oopsies, I'm a Gemini.
All right, we're going to double check the cam marking. We're good. Please. I hate doing this so much. This scares the fuck out of me. Oh my God. Oh, okay, click. And I'm gonna do like a plus 45. Yeah, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good.
Good job. I think it's gonna work.
No, there's literally no guarantees to this. And just to double check, because I'm good. Do myself a better. This was the tooth I need lined up. Really worried about messing this up. Look at that. Where's the trusty flathead?
Game.
Let's play a game, Kawa. I'm just gonna cut the timing belt. I don't need it anymore. All right, I'm gonna loosen this up again. You know what they say? What? Persistence is key. Boy, howdy, am I persistent on not fucking this up. Look at that. So tight. Right here is tight. That dot that I left there earlier is good, lined up with that guy. This side's tight. This side's tight. This side's tight. This side. That's it. That's all she wrote. So now I just gotta wait for the tensioner to show up from our trusty source, and I might just put like a zip tie around this, and then we're just going to temporary fix until our tensioner comes in.
You could probably run it like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Volkswagen. All right, we got the cam seals done, we got the water pump done, we got the thermostat housing, timing belt is on, I'm waiting for the tension to come in so that way I can let go of that zip tie. For now, we are good to go. Now, it's gonna be water coolant line, O-rings, power steering lines, valve cover gasket, and I think buttoning it back it up. Maybe the next video is buttoning it up and starting it. We'll see. So yeah, we'll get this thing timed. We're good to go. See you in the next video.